Hey everybody, Pastor Dan here with an important update about Code Blue. As you probably already heard, our church is going to be hosting an overnight warming center this winter as part of Monroe County's Code Blue. We put out a video about this a couple weeks ago. I'll make sure to link to that somewhere in the description of this video. But I wanted to give everyone an update about what this is going to look like with some additional details and answer a few questions we've received. This is also going to be a slightly longer video than normal, so let's get right into it. Code Blue is part of a state-funded initiative to provide overnight warming centers for homeless people in our community whenever the temperature drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And our church is partnering with Oak Orchard Health to provide a warming center in our building right here in Brockport. At the time I'm recording this video, we do not yet have a firm start date for our warming center, but it's going to be up and running any day now, and there's even a possibility that it is already open and operational by the time you're seeing this video. Our warming center is going to be located in the fellowship hall of our church. That's the big room on the main floor of the building where we host community meals like the gathering table and other large events. It is the perfect space for something like this. It's big, it's open, there's a restroom right there, easy access to all the exits. The kitchen is right there too, which makes it super easy for the staff that's going to be running this to make coffee and things like that. Our warming center is going to be entirely staffed by folks from Oak Orchard. These are well-trained, paid individuals who are going to be opening, closing, and operating our warming center whenever it's in use. Our warming center is only going to be open on nights that the temperature drops below 32 degrees, and it's by appointment only. There's going to be a phone number people can call if they need a place to stay. There's also going to be coordination between Oak Orchard, the church, local law enforcement, and all the various organizations and agencies that serve people on our side of the county. And when we become aware of someone who needs a safe, warm place to stay for the night, we open up for them. Which also means that on nights that it is not cold enough or not needed, our warming center will not open. The hours of operation for our warming center are going to be from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, with extended hours on the weekends. And I will give you some more information about weekend hours in just a minute. The maximum occupancy for our warming center is 10 adults. We will not be hosting minors. If a family shows up with kids or if someone under the age of 18 needs a place to stay, the county is actually responsible to find alternative accommodation for them. So it's going to be adults only. Our location is only staffed and budgeted for 10 overnight guests. That is our capacity. Once we hit 10 guests, we are maxed out, and any additional folks who need a place to stay are going to be directed to other warming centers. That's how our warming center is going to work. It's going to be starting any day now, and it will run basically until we no longer have nights that drop under 32 degrees. So we're talking around the time winter ends here. That can be late March, early April, somewhere in that time frame, it will be over. Now, since we put out that video a couple weeks ago announcing this, we've received a number of really good questions from church members and folks in our community about the warming center. One of those questions is, what are people going to do while they're here in the building overnight? When someone shows up to the warming center, they're going to have a safe place to stay for as long as they need within that 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. window. We will have coffee and snacks provided by Oak Orchard. There's going to be cots if they want to sleep. We'll also have a TV set up and Wi-Fi so people can watch a show or use their phones. And we're going to have a ton of resources and information available to them as well. But really, more than anything, the goal is to just be a hospitable and safe place where folks can stay warm with dignity. And then by 8 a.m., anyone who's still in the building is going to be asked to clear out their stuff and head out. The staff will clean, and then we're going to have access to the space for other church events by 8:30 a.m. at the latest. Another question we've received is, what kind of people is this going to bring into our building? That's a fair question, and it's one that I'm happy to speak to. The reality is that our community already includes homeless people. There are already homeless people living right here in Brockport. Some sleep on the college campus overnight. Some sleep under the bridges near the canal. Homelessness can look like someone sleeping in their car or on a friend's couch. And in most cases, homelessness is a short-term situation where someone finds themselves without a roof over their heads for anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks. And if we can provide a warm, safe space for our neighbors to sleep so they don't freeze to death under a bridge, why wouldn't we do that? Now, there are horror stories about warming centers in the city being flooded with people, law enforcement and hospitals just sort of dumping folks that they don't want to help on the doorsteps of churches and community centers that are hosting these warming centers. We are working very closely with Brockport PD, Monroe County Sheriff, and SUNY PD to make sure that doesn't happen. But the staff from Oak Orchard that's going to be running this knows what to do in these situations. They know how to find resources for folks. And again, I can't emphasize enough, our warming center has a capacity. It is capped at 10 people. We cannot legally have more than that in the building at one time. And due to the way that government funding works and is appropriated, we're only allowed to host people from Monroe County. So it is quite literally our neighbors who are going to be using this. Why wouldn't we serve them? Another important question we've received is, what happens on the weekends? Our warming center is open from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, but what about Saturday and Sunday? Oak Orchard is also partnering with the Seymour Library to provide a warm space during the day when the temperature stays below freezing, but the library isn't open every day. This shouldn't impact us much on Saturdays, but on Sundays, when it stays below freezing, and especially on Sunday mornings, there's a good chance that if there's nowhere else to go, our overnight guests are going to be in the building well past 8 a.m. Now, we've worked out a deal with the staff from Oak Orchard. We have a plan. Basically, on Sunday mornings, they're still going to be cleaning up and clearing everything out at 8 a.m. But then rather than kicking folks out onto the street while it's freezing with nowhere to go, we're going to make the church parlor and the large room in the basement available to our overnight guests. That will allow them to still have some privacy and to stay warm. And that's also going to allow us to start setting up for worship and all the stuff that happens in our building on a Sunday morning. Now, there's going to be some inconveniences with this, of course. On weeks that we have meals after worship service, we're going to have to set up tables, chairs, and place settings on Sunday morning, either before or after church. We're not going to be able to set things up on Saturday night and have the fellowship hall filled with tables and chairs overnight. But I think that's a pretty small price to pay for a ministry that is literally keeping people from freezing to death. We can accommodate that. Also, how awesome will it be to have some folks we're hosting actually hang out with us on Sunday mornings, to have coffee together before worship, to share lunch together after church, maybe even worship together if they're inclined to join us for worship. What an awesome opportunity to serve our community and be the literal hands and feet of Jesus to those in need. You know, I'm recording this video in the Advent season. We've got the sanctuary all decorated for Christmas, and I'm reminded of that classic Christmas hymn, Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. What better way to prepare room for Jesus than by literally opening our doors, opening our space, and preparing a place for the most desperate members of our community? I don't know if there's a more tangible manifestation of those lyrics than that. And that actually brings me to one final but super important question, the question I have received by far the most, almost daily since we announced Code Blue a few weeks ago. And that question is, how can I help? It's been amazing to see the outpouring of love and support from folks looking to help Code Blue succeed. And the good news is we finally got some ways you can help. In the coming days, Oak Orchard is going to be putting out a list of items people can donate to help support Code Blue. That list is going to include stuff like sleeping bags, blankets, backpacks, hats and gloves, non-perishable food items, travel-sized hygiene products, feminine hygiene products, cleaning supplies, all sorts of stuff like that. When we get that list, we're going to share it with the church community and the folks here in Brockport as soon as we do so that you can start donating to help support Code Blue. For those who are part of our congregation, you can also help by just being hospitable, accommodating the slight inconveniences that are going to come with doing something like this, and helping us to welcome the individuals we're serving. And of course, we would love for everyone watching this video to be praying over this new effort. Ask God to bless it, bless the staff that's going to be running this, bless the guests we're going to be bringing in, and just to bring all the pieces of this together smoothly so that our church can continue to be a safe and welcoming space for all. We will let you know about other opportunities to support Code Blue as they come up. If you have any additional questions, please email them to the church office or drop them in a comment below this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I will see you on Sunday. Grace and peace.